council meeting, April the 10th, meeting to order. Roll call. Get a roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
We have 9 council members present. I am going to ask Dr. Couey to lead us into Pledge of Allegiance and Mish to lead us in prayer. Yes, sir. You don't have to pray.
Yes, sir.
Take this moment to acknowledge Almighty God and thank Him for our bountiful blessings, especially for the parish's natural resources. We give thanks to God for our brave and courageous men and our women in our military who daily risk their lives to protect our precious freedom. And we pray for our world leaders to know how to obtain world peace. We pray that this government body, comprised of both council and administration, will always serve our parish with honesty, humility, and equality for all. And as this government body gathers here today, we pray for the wisdom to know right from wrong and the courage to do that which is right. Amen.
Amen. Flag, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Are we deferring?
Okay. We're going to do the executive session at the end of the meeting. And so, next item.
3 proclamations. A proclamation declaring the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the parish of Plaquemines. Read the whole thing?
Motion.
A proclamation declaring the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the parish of Plaquemines, whereas the 57th anniversary of the National Fair Housing Law Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 during the month of April is an occasion for all Americans, individually and collectively, to rededicate themselves to the principle of freedom from housing discrimination whenever it exists. Whereas the law guarantees for each citizen the critical personal element of freely choosing a home. Whereas a fair housing law has been passed by the state of Louisiana and implementation of the law requires positive commitment, involvement, and support of each of our citizens. Whereas the department and agencies of the state of Louisiana are to provide leadership in the effort to make fair housing not just an idea, but an ideal for all of our citizens. Whereas barriers that diminish the rights and limit the options of any citizen to freely choose a home will ultimately diminish the rights and limit the options of all. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed by the Plaquemines Parish Council, represented by its duly authorized chairman, Tyrone Edwards, and by concurrence of the parish president, Keith Hinckley, representing the Plaquemines Parish government, that it hereby declares the month of April 2025 as Fair Housing Month in the parish of Plaquemines.
Offer it. No, I'm not offering. Who's offering?
I'll offer.
Can we get a second? Second by Mr. Champagne. Any comments or discussion from the audience?
Clarence Brox, 156 Enos Campbell Lane. This is a proclamation for fair housing in Plaquemine Parish.
Yes, sir.
That's all I got.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Glad to see you doing all right.
That's thanks to natural healing. Warren Lawrence, 120 Timber Canal Lane, Myrtle Grove. I look at this fair housing and I wonder if it's more like fair camper trailer cities. Thank you.
Administration, table. Well, every year this come up, even before I became a council member, I didn't think it's worth the ink on the paper, especially when the fact of many citizens, constituents in my community, because of the elevation diminish their right to fair housing. And so, but I understand the whole purpose of this on a national level, and everybody over the country is doing this. And I understand the history of this Fair Housing Act because of my 55 years of doing work in the civil rights movement. But I always have to make the statement is that we don't have fair housing, in Plaquemine Parish. So while we all agree with this, it doesn't apply to what's really the reality of people in Plaquemine Parish. So I just wanted to say that. If anything else, to call for the vote. And it's passed this 8-2 with your humble servant voting no. Next item.
4 administration updates.
Good afternoon. On the operations side, Mr. Wishers and his team are finalizing the cleaning up of the site from the maintenance at the Government Complex, the festival grounds, in prep for this upcoming weekend. You got the 10th annual One Sack Challenge crawfish cook-off. Cutting and sweeping of parish-wide ditches are underway. The plan is to start weed killing ditch bottoms so that going forward we'll only have to cut with the bat wing cutter in the future. We're also preparing to move forward with RFQs on ditch cleaning, sweeping on the lower West Bank from Home Place to Venice. Our emergency preparedness on Monday, we held a planning meeting discussing the design of the new EOC 911 building, which, we're building right and remodeling here on the government complex. We reviewed potential changes that may be needed to obtain quotes for equipment. We're looking at 2 proposals, having the current telecom equipment moved, and 2, having all new equipment installed at the location. Revised plans, we're expecting those to be to us April of this year. We're currently researching any possible grant funding to upgrade or replace this equipment as well. The comprehensive zoning district map, once the ordinance is approved by the council, 3 town hall meetings will be scheduled for public education. On the East Bank, it will be at the Braithwaite Auditorium. In Port Sulphur, at the YMCA. And in Bellchase, it'd be at the middle school. The Port Sulphur water plant, major components are being switched over to permanent power this week. I just don't know what week they're talking about and what week this project will be finished. I'm just really distraught and just kind of disturbed with Barnes Electric. The Bellchase water pump, new pump running with no issues. Demo of the old pump house and piping from new pump to Clearwell to begin next week. Backup generator startups 4/7 to 4/8, which was yesterday and last couple of days. On Arts, Parks, and Recreation, all quotes received for the covered brick pavilions at the Quad came in over budget. We're working on alternative designs to requote. All quotes for the Braithwaite updates have been received. We'll move forward with procurement and approvals to proceed on that. Updates include adding seating, safety service, and repairs to existing play structures. We have our final community meeting tonight in Port Sulphur to engage residents on recreation programs, registration, and participation. We will present a recommendation plan in the coming weeks to address all community concerns. We're also, from Ms. DeMarco, we're excited to announce the formation of the Small Business Advisory Panel. This is a group dedicated to supporting and advocating for the interest of small businesses. This panel will play a crucial role in fostering a dynamic small business ecosystem. The first meeting will center on establishing the foundational goals of the advisory panel. The infamous Bellchase Bridge tolling is currently scheduled to start April 16th at 12:01 after the contract completes final details. This schedule is subject to change based upon inspections and the weather. We've shared our request with DOTD and Secretary Donahue not to initiate any of the tolling after all construction projects are completed. So that's a communications that we're having, if not on a daily basis, definitely on a every other day. We're in communications with Mr. Boyle and Secretary Donahue. We have requested that all construction projects take place at night or in off-peak in days and other sections. Not to take place, right, yeah. New design plans on the animal shelter. New design plans were provided by Brocquet Design Group on April 7th. We'll schedule a Plaquemines Government Review meeting shortly to review those changes in exterior rendering. So we'll get with all the council members and we'll bring you guys in to review those plans as well. And that's all I have.
Any comments from the audience to the administration presentation?
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Belchase. Mentioned about once the zoning is approved, then we'll hold town hall meetings. Would it be more beneficial to hold the town hall meetings before we
No.
vote?
It's the ordinance to move forward.
Okay.
The zoning is not changed in this process that could take place today. What this does is it gives the opportunity for the review
Okay.
of the plan. There's going to be a lot of changes. Hopefully there will be a lot of input to this zoning here. Because like I said, you'll see in this plan, we've got the community of Ironton, we've got the Myrtle Grove community, we got the West Point LaHash community, we have the Woodland Plantation. Those areas there, we need to protect them with certain zoning that's adjacent to these properties, and we've got to protect those neighborhoods.
All right, thanks.
Vic Scarsoni, 125 Woodchase. Keith, on the bridge project, the northbound median, right now there's cones, there's 5,000 cones that separate the north and southbound on the north side. Is there are they going to put a median there, a non-cross the lane barrier there? And when they do that, they're going to close each lane. I'm sure to do that, correct?
The answer is yes.
Is that part of the bridge construction or
That's
not?
part of the bridge construction. In the future, you won't be able to enter Highway 23 from Engineers Road at that area anymore. That's what the West X that goes under the bridge. There'll be an entrance ramp at Burmaster at that time.
So there is going to be
There will be a median
protected there.
protected.
The second thing, I talked to Patty about it last week. Since X Street now is going to be a major thoroughfare for the community north of the bridge, currently it's a wooden structure crossing the railroad track. I would assume that the state would put a concrete structure there, so it wouldn't have to be maintained. They only have two structures there. One is currently concrete, the other is still wood. I would assume that logic would make it so that there's going to be a lot more traffic going through that one section. I would ask that y'all make sure that they concrete that section so we don't have to shut it down for maintenance every 2 years for wood.
We'll have to look into that.
Okay, thanks, that's it.
Anyone else from the audience?
Clarence Brooks, 156 Enos Camerland. I just want to compliment the grass cutting to Mr. President. I noticed the ditches in Phoenix and some in David in front of Ash. They're being cut real nice, and I just learned that he said he's going to put some poison down the middle, so hold down the cutting so often. But for far as I'm concerned, they're doing a real good job.
Well, I appreciate that, Mr. Brock.
Don't think I'm a negative man all the time.
Right.
It look good.
We're going to record this so we can keep it in our archive.
All right.
I'm gonna watch this over again tonight.
I am too. Anyone else from the audience? Table? Let's see, Mitch?
Yes, Mr. President, I got to tell you, our water pressure, Jeff, our water pressure has gone up in Home Place the last week or so. I think they found a valve that needed some repair, needed to be opened. And it was 16-inch line. I mean, it's made a world of difference. I can't wait till you come online with Port Sulphur at 3 million gallons a day, because I think that's going to definitely help us. I know we talked about watching the Bonnie Carey. You know, we got to do what we can to keep the Corps from opening the Bonnie Carry, because we need that river to flow south to keep us in good quality water. And, I know y'all were in contact with them, over that, and we had some really good news last week. So, but everything on the waterfront right now is barring any breakdowns, and hopefully Barnes will finish that project up pretty quick. I don't know if you got a timeline. You said the end of the month or something.
It's always this week.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right.
All right. Well, I just wanted
But,
to let you know the water is flowing better even down the road. I'm not getting as much complaints, so it's all doing good. Thank
Good.
y'all.
And as far as the river's concerned, the colonel did reach out to me, and he assured me that they will be aware and cognizant about the flow of the river, and that it will always have enough flow. They will see to it so that there won't be any saltwater intrusion from the Gulf of America.
That's, Mitch, you said something about good news. I didn't know what you was talking about.
Well, this past Friday, the governor and Chairman Dove sent a letter to the CPRA board putting a 90-day stop work on the Mid-Barataria diversion. And moving forward in the future, it won't be a 75,000 CFS project. It's going to be somewhere between a 2,500 to a 15,000 CFS project, and that'll coincide with some of the projects that Ms. Buck has been working with them on it, with the land bridge that goes from Port Sulphur to the end and bottom of Lafitte. There's also some extensions from at Spanish Pass. We're going to carry that all the way across the bottom. So we're going to have two major ridges as it comes on the West Bank side of the river. There was a project that was just bid out this past week for the East Bank, another land bridge. So there are projects, coastal projects, all over this parish out in the marsh. So yeah. And we will have a major seat at the table in the future with this administration, with the Governor Landry and Chairman Dove. And he assured, I've got a very positive text message from him stating just that.
Thank you. So I just wanted you to say that, Mitch, because, no, the reason why I say that serious, because, you and I had some serious issue around that. I really didn't think it would happen, on it. And so I was really surprised, and I know the leadership that you provided on that. And so I just wanted to, because I was a doubting Thomas when it came down to that. Yeah, so I'm just saying, so I just wanted to. Huh?
Y'all want to replay that tonight?
Well, I get credit where credit due. I'm sorry.
McCarty?
McCarty?
Yeah. Mr. President, I was hoping that Mr. Brule might be here today, but just to try and recap a little bit more about the bridge, Secretary Donahue had a meeting with Plannery yesterday, and before the meeting, they said it was going to be the 12th when it would open, then they moved it back to the 6th, and as you just said, it might be moved back even further?
No, the 16th.
That's what I meant to say.
16th, yes.
Yeah.
And there's some possibility that the 16th is not even the drop dead date. So.
Okay. So during all this, as Mr. Scarsoni just mentioned, I've been contacted by quite a few people. And now I'm getting a lot of email complaints. And also, I told Ms. Ginn, Abby Ginn, that people were complaining that people were pounding not until 10 o'clock, but 1:30 in the morning. I don't know if you had heard that, for driving the sheet piling. So now I'm getting letters, and I spoke with Representative Bro, and I'm going to CC you. He wants me to send all those to him, and he wants to forward them to Donahue just to have a talking point. And I'm wondering, actually, I'm asking that since we have decibel ratings, I know we can't legally stop them before 10 o'clock, even though the Secretary had said that they wouldn't work at night, and they are. Can we ask the police to go out there and take a meter and at least record it? Because I know they've done that elsewhere in the parish in the past.
We can.
would you
We need to
please-
get a decibel
I think
meter.
the police have it because
Okay.
they shut a company down before.
They do? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just look, I get all kind of phone calls throughout the night. So it doesn't matter what time, so just pick up the phone and call me and let me know, and then we'll get them out. Okay?
Sounds good. That's
All
a
right.
good plan.
Good deal.
Thank you.
All right.
Mr. LaBranch?
Yes. Last Sunday, electricity had went out, and water plant in Port Sulphur went out. I'm going to ask why we don't have a backup generator at our water plant.
We do. It's just with this ongoing project, it's a portable. Just with this ongoing project, it's not permanently hooked up yet.
And when this project is finished, it's going to be hooked up permanently?
That's the plans. That's the plans. And that was part of the administrative order, that we do not have a permanent generator there. It's a rental at this point, and at some point, that's going to have to be addressed as well.
And when we do have it, it's going to be elevated?
We're going back and forth with what, if it's right now, we're looking at portables where we can get them out of there if circumstances warrant, and put them on high ground such as the medical center. Elevated, the cost of elevating a permanent structure added, 2 or 3 times to the cost of putting generators there.
Mr. President, you talked about Home Place to Venice. What are they doing again?
Go ahead, Bill.
That's putting out those RFQ requests for quotes for those companies to come in and dig all those ditches. Remember, we all discussed the area from Home Place to Venice,
Okay.
ditches in lots of 10 for the contractors to quote on lots of 10, and that will prevent us, me, and contractors from having to walk every ditch to give a quote or an estimate. We're going to put that on them. They can go out and look at the ditches. It's on them to come up with a cost rate, what they think it's going to cost them, and submit those type of bids.
Okay.
And it's not particular, it doesn't mean they start on the first 10 in Home Place and work south, but that's the area of this plan to work in that way.
And who came up with this plan?
Myself and engineering.
So it was my legislation to do this.
Well, you talking about Operation Clean Sweep?
Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit different. So we're still doing ditches parish-wide. This is to clean up some specific ditches in your lower end. You guys have the worst ditches parish-wide, probably. No one could probably disagree with that. That's why we picked those areas to do this project. But you're still getting other ditches, just like you had that one just the other day. So there's still random ditches getting done. This is a specific cleaning system for that area. It ain't going to shut down ditch cleaning around the rest of the parish.
But
It's
I know
two
the
separate
last time
things.
it flooded, we had 2 to 3 foot of water in Port Sulphur.
Yeah, yes, correct.
So.
Would you like to move it? I mean, call me, reach out to me, we can discuss it.
No,
Okay.
I'm not looking to move anything from those gentlemen' district, but however, we can put out
Is Home Place not in your
bids or
district?
quotes to get ditches done from Diamond to Port Sulphur.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to do just one area. I mean, we could contract out 2 contractors.
Yeah.
One start from Diamond, one start from Home Place South.
Yes.
I mean, we can walk and chew bubble gum at the same time.
Certainly can.
Well, and a
Listen, but
lot of the complaints that we've been having, that government moves too slow. So why would we try to set up just one contractor cleaning, and we could set up 2 or maybe 3? So we can get this done.
I'll sit down with you because you didn't send me any of this prior.
No.
We'll clear it up and whatever's easier for you, but it's my understanding Home Place is in your district, correct?
Huh?
Is Home Place in your district?
Yeah, some of it
Okay, right, so I get it, so,
in Mitch District too.
yeah, and
But I mean-
and Mr. Kognovich as well, but,
Well, yeah.
okay, so we have to start somewhere. So if we start on your end,
I had.
Mr. Champagne can very well say, hey, why you not in District 2? We're trying to work parish-wide.
Highboat District, that his drainage canal, they almost can walk through it. It's so filled up. But what I'm saying is, we shouldn't rely on just one contractor. That we can hire 2, 3 contractors.
Yeah, no.
And 2 or 3, 2 is better than 1.
We didn't say we were requiring one contractor. We have to get quotes because we don't have a clue how to go out and price this ourselves. We're not in that business.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those contractors may get the job if their price is equal. But if one's 50,000 more than the other one, we ain't going to have 3 contractors working at all different prices. As long as the prices are compatible, we can hire as many contractors as we want. The number of contractors is not a part of this equation. The pricing for those projects are what's part of the equation.
And what is the scope of work? You know, how
Cutting.
wide from the center of the ditch, how wide are you going over?
It's going to be the full width of the servitude, which there are multiple different widths. So whatever the width is on that ditch, that'll be cleared. When you pass down Highway 23, you'll be able to look down that servitude and it'll look like an open street. So removing, the only thing will be a hiccup in that we know is if they have culverts in the ditches. Because most culverts, 99% of the culverts were placed privately. Most were not set to any kind of grade, just people had property and they went through a culvert so they can cross. We have issues now where the ditch bottoms are actually lower than culverts, so you hold water between culverts, right?
And
We're not in a position now to go and replace everybody's culverts, because that would be a huge cost and an inconvenience, and some people don't want us to touch their culverts. So if it's an open ditch from highway to highway, it's going to be cut, cleared, and dug to grade to keep it flowing towards the back canal. If it has a culvert, we'll have to address each culvert as we come to it.
And these quotes, are they going to have a starting and completion time?
Yes. And that's going to be, that's another comparable, just like pricing. If 5 people submit quotes and 2 of them say they can do 10 ditches in 10 days and everybody else says 30 days, we'll have to revisit that and make sure we're comparing apples to apples.
Right.
You know, and look, we want to help locals if we can, but we don't want to have somebody who just owns a backhoe to try to bid on this stuff and tell us they're going to dig ditches and do all this, and they're not capable of doing it.
Right.
And again, we're not in a position to judge anyone or to say if they can do it or not, but we're going to do our due diligence to make sure we're hiring professionals and their work is above standard, right? We don't even want average, we want above standard.
Liquidated damages if it's not
Correct.
completed at a certain time,
Yeah.
and it can be fine. Yeah, that.
And look, you know, you guys know like I know, if they only dig 1 ditch, that's better than it was the day before they dug that ditch, right? So we want to move forward. We want it to be reasonable, and we don't want to make other people rich while the taxpayers go broke getting a substandard work. So we want to make sure this is done correctly.
Absolutely. That's why I would like to see your scope of work before you send it out.
Okay.
So make sure we all can agree upon this. And most right-of-ways or servitude, what's the average?
15 feet. I'd say that's the average on most outfall type ditches.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there's some from 5 to 50, but the average is 15.
But with 5 foot,
And that's 15 on either side now, so 30 total.
yeah, but I mean, with 5 foot, you won't be able to send a 15-footer through there.
That's correct, right? That's what's bad about all ditches. There are some ditches where the property line runs through the middle of the ditch, but it's a drainage servitude, and you might only have 5 feet on either side, which makes you a 10-foot total. There's no way to do it without working in the ditch. But
And with these small servitude, could you reach out to the property owner and explain it to them?
we do that every day.
Okay.
We get fussed at every day for explaining to people why we can't do something in their area. Most of the time, look, they've built buildings next to the ditch in the servitude. Fences are not that big a deal. When somebody builds garages and sheds and all that kind of stuff, it's a big deal. But
Yeah. I know grass cutting is an issue. I know we have an issue with the, with that wall that they built in front of
Wood Park.
Wood Park. I don't know how we gonna cut that.
you got to kill it, and then it looks just as ugly.
Yeah. I yield.
Konovich from downtown Woodville. Beers.
The best bang. But thank you for.
You take a
getting
little
on the
kindness too
ditches.
far, my friend. You take a little kindness too far.
Like I tell people, if they want to run a mile, they got to take that first step, you know. But where are we at in the Bootville pump station? We down to one pump?
We did go away from that plan of renting a crane for that outrageous amount, and they have that monorail crane system there. We're repairing that at a fraction of the cost. So as soon as that's repaired, we'll do that pump work, have that pump work done. And we have funding and all of that ready for it, so it's just a matter of, the process is in progress now.
'Cause I got calls today that the other pump mustn't be working because they didn't pump the canal down.
So I dealt with some, that's why I was down there the other day dealing with some of that, but, you know, I asked, do you want us to show you video of the pump running? And none of that matters. I get it. If you live on that canal and you believe the canal's high, there's nothing we can say to make them happy, so.
I also told them, because on the north end of that canal needs to be dredged out, because
Yeah.
like Colton said, you could walk across and not get your feet wet.
Get your pants wet, huh?
And we got a cleanup at Fort Jackson Saturday, so if anybody wants to volunteer, more than welcome to come. Also like to see what can we do about four-wheelers. I'm tired of me putting all my time and effort into trying to keep the fort cut and clean. They went over there either Monday or Tuesday and tore up by the picnic tables. And I know people, my kid, they don't have nothing for them to do. Well, that's the reason why they're not going to have anything to do.
Well, one is enforcement, right? We need law enforcement because it's obviously against the law to do it. Second thing is what you and I talked about the ATV park thing across the street again.
Yeah.
And look, it didn't get much use last time is why it grew back again, but we can cut it and keep it cut down, and maybe some signage or advertisement type of stuff like that will work to get that to go over there. But look, just like the one on Walker Road, when it was a beautiful little ATV track, motocross track, then you get four-wheel trucks go back there and tear it up and make ruts 3 feet deep, and then people get hurt on the four-wheelers and dirt bikes. Look, that's something that needs to be, there needs to be some oversight, because a lot goes into that, to keep a good, functioning, safe activity like that.
After this meeting, I'm going to Academy and buy me some trail cameras. I'm going to catch them.
Yeah.
Because they also took river rocks and they was destroying the bunker out on the river.
Yeah, and that's, just an FYI, we're going tomorrow with the welder to look at that pipe to see how we can fix that. And we did cut all the weeds around it,
Yeah, I see.
access it, so that's, tomorrow we'll be down there for that.
All right, thank you.
Brother Newsom?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, again, a lot of good things going on in Troy Parish. Thank administration and legal for the work they've done last week. Was like, as Mitch said, good stuff for the parish. Also in your update, also just remember, we got the Easter parade is also Sunday. So for the audience out there, it starts on Highway 11, goes all the way down Highway 11, and Jesuit Bend crosses over, and they have some activities at the Jesuit Bend Park, which is fun for kids. So if anybody's looking for something to do Sunday, come out and attend the Easter parade. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Konovich, I'm sorry to see all that violence taking place down there in Boothville. I don't know if that's the best banquet, that kind of stuff, but I'm going to leave that alone. But anyway, I want to thank you, first of all, Mr. Hinckley, for inviting me to the meeting with Representative Calise to talk about water pressure. I just wanted to, on April the 29th, at the Reverend Griffin Center, we will have a community meeting, and on May the 1st at the Aaron Green, and the issues we're going to be talking about is water pressure, recreation, ferry update, economic development, and roads, and so most of the things. So I hope we can have parish representatives that familiar with those things on those today. Now, you was telling me there's some meeting at Break where I didn't know what meeting that was.
That'll be one of the meetings in reference to the zoning. That's going to be in that from Laura Seat to Diamond. That's
okay.
Yeah, I mean, and the zoning change is on the West Bank, but we just figured we'd give an opportunity for the East Bank residents to voice an opinion of it as well.
I was just wondering why Break River chose. Okay. So anyway, we having those meetings, and I'm hoping that the 29th that we can have parish officials to address the issues, update on the levee, playground, firehouse, economic development, water line issues. So those are the issues that we're dealing with. So we hope you can come out to those meetings.
I would ask if you would just email, get Tasia, your assistant.
He's already
Just
shaking his
email
head on
that to Day and Shanta, and we'll round the team up.
Thank you, sir. And then again, we had the trial at the code officer Chevron, and it was amazing verdict. And I just think there's a feel and atmosphere for residents. Hopefully, you can get the dollars here to go towards coastal restoration. Okay, so that's it for me. Anyone else for administration? All right, next item on the agenda.
6 beer and liquor licenses. The Dock Bar and Grill, 235 Cypress Cove Road, Venice, Louisiana. Rotolo's 102 Woodland Highway, Belchase, Louisiana. Alex's Lounge, 3311 Highway 11, Empire, Louisiana.
Offer, second. Any comments from the audience? Administration, table? Machine is open. And it passes 9-0.
7 building permits, 7A construction permits, 7A1 Hillcorp Energy Co., application number 2025-141, application date 3/12/25, installation of 11,992 foot of 8-inch flow line south past Little West facility. Councilmember Kotnovich.
I'll offer on behalf of Councilmember Conovich.
Can we get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open for voting. And it passes 8 with Mr. Kotnovich abstaining. Next item, please.
Are we taking any of these in Globo?
Okay. Any objection, taking the rest in global? Okay.
I can't do all of them.
You can't? No. Let's do them individual, please.
I know, Councilmember LaFrance, you want to take All Saints separately, or are you deferring?
I'm going to defer that.
Deferred?
Deferred.
And then, let's see, we have the Blue Angel RV Park and a fireworks one that needs to be done separately.
Okay.
So which one? DVDs?
C and D separate, and then the rest we're going to do in Globo.
D and D, so we want to let's take B and D, and then we can do the rest in global.
All right, Blue Angel, Miles Labeth, permanent RV park conditional approval for 12 spaces, 147 Prody Drive and 155 Prody Drive, Belchase, Louisiana. Councilmember Newsom.
Oh,
Second by McCarty. Any comments from the audience? Administration table? Machine is open. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, will you identify your,
A little too quick for me. As I have been in the past, I'm
identify who you are?
Rick Jackson,
Okay.
126 Gondola Drive, Belchase, Louisiana. I'm completely against this for numerous reasons. First of all, you just put one for Danny, then another one for Blue Dog, and then the one we just put in just 2 or 3 weeks ago that's going to be done. It's my understanding that prior to building these and occupying these trailer parks, that the permit has to be issued. These 2 sites that they're talking about, 147 Prody and 155 Prody, are already built and already have trailers in them. So if they don't have a permit, they're breaking the law. Secondly, there's 12 spaces on 0.59, a half an acre. For them to have the proper spacing, I believe it's 25 feet, it's hard for me to believe, but I'm going to assume that somebody did the due diligence or looked at it. But again, like I say, they are already trailers in those spots. And every time I've addressed it before, you say, well, this is already zoned MH, zoned MH. Well, MH is not RV. I lived in a trailer. That's permanent residence for 10 years. I lived and worked in this parish. RV is people that are going to be here a week, 2 weeks, a month. And I agree. They mostly are good people, good working people, but they don't care. They don't have no investment in our neighborhood, our future. I've already had numerous run-ins with these in my neighborhood, coming up and down my street. And like I say, I'm completely against it. And when you say it's no cost to the parish, but there is a cost to the parish because directly related to these, and I can't believe it or not, because our sewer system on Concord was collapsed for 10 years. All of a sudden, they're going to put an RV park back there, Blue Dog, and abracadabra, the line gets fixed. Now, Prody Drive, last meeting, we appropriated some money to redo Prody Drive. Well, Prody Drive is the trailer park. What they did is they took Prody Drive and went straight on to the trailer park. So, you know, less than a year ago, that was trees. It wasn't Prody Drive. So here we are. We're going to enhance the value of their trailer park, not a motorhome park, a trailer park, RV park, while at the same time depreciating the value of our houses across the street because we have so many transient people coming through. So, like I said, you know, I can't believe that we're permitting something that's already in operation. And that's all I have to say, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
Anyone else from the audience? Yes.
That's Warren Lawrence, 120 Timber Canal Lane, Meadow Grove. You know, it's relation to all of these trailer parks. This is a permanent one. And a lot of the ones we even see in Myrtle Grove, I mean, it went from 10 to now 30 of them right behind the Myrtle Grove bar. They're all individuals. There's no rhyme or reason to say that it's one owner or what. I don't know what it is, but we've seen the influx of this. And I bring to mind that I question in my past experience as chief inspector for the city of New Orleans in relation on the state plumbing board and everything. These permanent trailer parks require washaterias in every one of them if they're a permanent RV park. And I'm seeing parks going on without these facilities done in them. So I'm questioning the permitting of them, that they're not meeting up to the state standard. And we have supposed to meet the state standard. We can get more exclusive, but we cannot get less exclusive. And part of their minimum requirement is a washateria for every permanent RV park. So I'm just questioning on the permitting of who is doing this, and again with the fire inspection, the fire marshal on what they're requiring between these trailers and stuff. A lot of them are not meeting this requirement. I don't know who's responsible for doing this. I don't think the state is coming in and checking them, but my question is, are they meeting the minimum requirements of state compliance for RV park? Like the gentleman just said, there's a world of difference between a permanent trailer park with permanent trailers than there's RV. RV is much more restrictive, and it don't look like we're following that minimum standard. So I question that it be looked into before you issue a permit, that it meets minimum state standards. Thank you.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. Just last meeting, somebody operating illegally, he came up for a request, and we turned him down because of I don't know if you guys remember, he had come up for additional spaces, and you guys turned him down. Seems like in the same case here, trailers are in place. He's got pictures of it. And are we going to reward somebody for doing it after the fact? Because if that's the case, I definitely went the wrong route with mine. So thank you.
Anyone else? I'm sorry, say it again?
You have to mention that I withdrew my second.
Oh, Ms. Carter withdrew a second for on this issue.
We need another second, if somebody wants a second.
She withdrew a second. Second by Mr. Champagne. I'm sorry, Mr. Cone.
All right, this is one of those situations where, there's people against and no one here for it that I see. I think, is there, Mr. Jackson, if you want to come back to the mic?
Not really, but I will.
So there is trailers in these spots right now,
Absolutely.
RVs?
Absolutely, I got them. Pictures of them right there on my phone. How many? Right now, there's only 2.
Because,
Okay, can Mitch finish?
well, no, this is, I think, going along the same lines. So on the permit application, because this is already zoned MH, he can put 2 as long as he has permits, and he has on the permit application that he has 2 already there. So he is not breaking any rules currently, because he is allowed 2 without coming to us.
So
He does have the permit. It says he's currently 2 RVs permitted on his application. So I just want to clear that up, that it's not necessarily the same thing of breaking the rules, because he is permitted according to this application for 2.
I'm just telling you what I see.
Yeah, I know. I was cued in because I think I was going to hit on the same thing, but I'll let you
Well,
have the floor
he's
back.
pretty confident that his permit's going to be approved because all the electrical, the lights, and everything's finished. So I wouldn't spend that much money if I didn't
I'll let
feel like
Mitch
I was
finish,
going to
but
get my
now I
permit
wanna go
approved.
Hold on, y'all back and forth. Okay. Can you get Mitch back in for me?
You're good.
I'm good? Okay. So, but it still comes up to the fact, before you get conditional use, you should not build on that property. So he does have the other spots ready to go, ready to plug in?
Absolutely, no doubt. They got the meters, not the meters, but the boxes, the lights, the
I'm
plumbing,
gonna ask you to
everything.
defer this, Ronnie, till we get a better, huh?
Now, I got one question too, and then I'll let you explain. Hold on, I'm still in queue. So, why are we doing this like this, where it's 2 different addresses, 6 spaces for each, and we're combining it into one?
It's on one property. It's 0.59 acres.
But technically, according to the addresses, it's 2 different lots, so it should not be combined into.
That's in a week.
Well, yeah, I didn't know if you knew the answer. Okay, I yield. I'll let you answer.
Mr. Newsom.
Yes, as, I was going to wait till end, but as Mr. Schultz put it, with the permit process, he was allowed to put those, one on 147, and he was allowed to put one on 155 Prody, which is what he has back there.
That's correct.
And again, per his permit, he does have a permit through our permit department. Why is it done that way? That's a permit. I don't have an answer for that. That's a permit, a permit question for Ms. Rose. Other than that, it's.
So are we going to defer this?
What are y'all, well, I asked my colleagues, what are y'all looking for to not vote on it today? What's the issue?
Why is it, it's 2 addresses, it's not 2, is it 2 separate lots?
Hold the microphone.
No,
Is it 2
It's one lot.
separate lots or it's one lot?
it's one piece of property.
So I'm just looking at this and it's confusing. Why don't he just go, if it's one piece of property, why he just didn't put 12 instead of 6 and 6? So I think we got to get back with the permit office and figure this out.
Who's offering the shoe?
That's me, yeah.
You want to defer?
Mr. Newsom,
Yes, sir.
if I can make a suggestion
Yes, sir.
that we do defer,
Defer.
give us the opportunity to go out, do the inspection, to see what's being done out there right now.
Put me back in.
Yeah.
Put me back in? Yes. And Mr. Jackson is correct, some stuff has been done, but there's nothing hooked up. It's all, the electric stuff is all disconnected. If you want to go look at it, you can. What they explained to me, why they did it through the permit department also, while they were building, their contractor was there, so they told them to do it. It's cheaper to get them out there. I know a few folks, I'm not in construction, but if you got to get somebody back, it costs more money. Got to demob. So while he was there, he did the construction on the lights, on the electrical, But again, nothing is actually hooked up, and that's through, Ms. Rose through the permit department told me that, so she said yes. So anyway, that's why the stuff has been built, because when he was doing the phase 1, 2, and 2, this is phase 3. The phase 2 was the most lots. It was 36 spots. So while he was there, he did his other 12 spots, and that's the reason that was done in that manner, and that why it was done. Thank you.
That's it, Ms. Conovic, and then
When we started this, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, none of the council members from Jesuit Bend up wanted a trailer in their districts. That's why we did from St. Jude hump down, because one, trying to keep them out of Belle Chase, the traffic, and then nobody up here wanted them. Well, now I see trailers in driveways in Lake Park and different other neighborhoods, and it wasn't to do that. And I don't know why we're letting them do that.
Because it's well, not like Paul.
hold on, you yielding, Mr. Conovic? Mr. Newsom?
Yes, this is all per our zoning ordinances. In our zoning book, RVs, parks are allowed in an MH zoning. That's a zoning book. That was adopted 2004, that zoning. So what we're doing is nothing illegal, because it's been adopted since 2004 of the thing. In an MH zoned area, you can have RVs. That's our rules. That's it. So to say that they're not, if it's zoned properly, which is MH zoned, they can have it. And we can't tell them they can't do something if it's permitted in the zoning book. And with that, I yield.
Good. Dr. Good.
I'm not contesting.
Hold on a second, Dr. Good.
Okay. Not too long ago, we sat here, similar to what we're doing now, and questions come up, and everybody's looking at the council members who have just approvals on the permits and don't know all the ins and outs. We rely on the administration to do all of that. Mr. Lawrence brought some questions up. Nobody answered. And so the last time we went through this, we called Ms. Amitra. She came in. It took her 2 minutes. She explained everything, and we were done with all this questioning. So I don't know if we can anticipate when she should be here, Keith, but we could save a lot of time if she were here, because those are great questions that were asked, and it's like deer in the headlights. We don't know. We don't know. So can I get
What we can do is we can in the future, we'll take a look at this, and then we'll get her here, and then we'll be able to get these questions answered. Really, a lot of these questions could be answered in the interim as well, but yeah. But no, that's not a problem. We can do that. Yeah.
Mitch?
Yeah, just one more time, just because he had a contractor in there did not give him the right to move forward with these other spots, because he did not have a permit for it. And, if we're going to set precedent and we're going to uphold, what we're supposed to do, I mean, this is done illegal.
According to the code of ordinance.
We deferring this because we've been beat this far down the road long enough. Are you deferring this?
Yes, sir.
And so, Mr. President, I'm saying that when it's come back up, it'd be very important. I want to see what Dr. Good say to have Ms. Rose here to really deal with it, because people asked some very serious questions. And I understand when it comes down to RV, it's obvious some people understand the process better than other people, so please, let's do that. Next item.
D, wholesale fireworks, Kurt Cavalier fireworks stand renewal.
Sorry, Mr. Jackson.
For 2025, 7614 Highway 23, Belle Chase, Louisiana. Councilmember Schultz.
Second by Dr. Good. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
Woodland Plantation, new duplex in floodplain zoning district 21955A Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, new duplex in floodplain zoning district 21955B Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, New Duplex and Floodplain Zoning District, 21947A, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, New Duplex and Floodplain Zoning District, 21947B, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, New Duplex and Floodplain Zoning District, 21939A, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, New Duplex and Floodplain Zoning District, 21939B, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, New Duplex and Floodplain Zoning District, 21935A, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Woodland Plantation, New Duplex and Floodplain Zoning District, 21935B, Highway 23, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Ricky Camper Trailer and Floodplain Zoning District.
No, I was
No?
going to say that. Let's just hold off on that. This is being offered by you, Mr. LaFrance, right?
Yes.
Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Konovich. Any comments from the audience?
Open Henry, Bell Chase. All these going to be built way up above the ground? Thank you, sir.
Oh, Mr. Brock's behind you, Mr. Lawrence. No, man, you from the East Bank, man. No, he's from the bad bank, man. Don't worry about that.
Clarence Brooks, 156, Enos Campbell Lane. Mr. Carlton, Mr. LaFrance, that's 16 homes. And all that gonna be water pressure. Are you able to adapt that amount of water pressure? All right. As long as you could take that water pressure. All right, thanks.
Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, Warren Lawrence, 120 Timber Canal Lane. One question I had, it seems like none of these duplexes are built on separate lots. It's all going to be on one piece of property, am I correct? That's what I'm saying. It's not a subdivision. So in other words, that complex there would be more like the duplexes wouldn't own their own property. They would still be they wouldn't be sold. Okay. In other words, he's operating it.
A and B. Any other comments from the audience? Administration, table, Mr. Newsom?
Yes, just on here, the required base flood elevation is 15 feet.
Any other comments from the table? Machine is open for voting. And it passes 9-0. Now we can take up M.
Ricky Berthelot, Camper Trailer and Floodplain Zoning District, 139 West Bayou Lane, Port Sulphur, Louisiana. Councilmember LaFrance.
Is there a second? Second by McCarthy. Audience, administration, table. Machine is open for voting. And it passes 8 with one abstention, Mr. Konovich. Next item, please.
8, introduction of ordinances and resolutions.
The following are for Councilmember Edwards. An ordinance to amend the 2025 General Fund Manpower Structure and Operating Expenditure Budget, Finance and Accounting Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 Public Health Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Ambulance General Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 2025 Waterworks and Sewage Fund Operating Expenditure Budget, Waterworks and Sewage Operations Department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. A resolution approving and authorizing Rochelle Morrell, Comptroller, to execute a Louisiana compliance questionnaire to Colder Slavening Company, LLC, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next two are for Councilmember Champagne. A resolution establishing a local ITEP committee in accordance with Section 549 of Title 13, Chapter 5, Subchapter B of the Louisiana Administrative Code, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, repairs sewer lift station project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. There's one for Councilmember Schultz. An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvements plan, Good News Pump Station generator project, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The following is for Councilmember LaFrance, an ordinance to amend and as amended readopt ordinance number 25-48, which prohibited the erection of billboards along Highway 23 from the Gulf Intercoastal Waterway up to the Alliance Refinery, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. This ordinance is for Councilmember Jurisic, an ordinance creating the Belle Chase West Bank North Economic Development District, defining the boundaries thereof from which area local sales tax increments will be determined and used to finance economic development projects in accordance with and as authorized by Parts 2 and 3 of Chapter 27 of Title 33 of Louisiana Revised of 1950, as amended and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. The next three are for Councilmember Konovich, an ordinance establishing the expenditure authorization for the parish president and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. An ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of a portion of Eclipse Lands property, Section 31, Township 20 South, Range 29 East, Triumph, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, into lots EL1 and EL2, Section 31, Township 20 South, Range 29 East, Triumph, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the plan and plat of survey by Dufresne Surveying and Engineering, Inc., dated August 2nd, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines, without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. And the final one is an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating revenue and expenditure budgets, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. That is it.
We want to take what all the deferrals we have before we get started.
All I know of is one, well,
Do we only have one deferral?
no deferrals.
No deferral, okay.
You want me to? Okay. And item M, I think, let's see. And item M is being withdrawn. Oh, I'm sorry.
M
No,
is
we have
deferred,
one.
okay.
I apologize.
Huh? M is withdrawn, okay.
And letter D.
So, I'm sorry, say that again?
D is deferred, D is in dog,
D is deferred,
and M is withdrawn.
M, I got
And that's all that I'm aware of.
And you didn't change the name on, one supposed to be McCarthy on there, wasn't my name? Okay. All right, next item, please.
9, ordinances and resolutions on second reading and final passage. 9A, ordinances and public hearings pursuant to Article 6, Section 601E of the Plaquemines Parish Charter. 9A1, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property Benedict Roussel et al., Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the map of re-subdivision lots 5B1, 5B2, and 7A, into lots 5A, 1A, and 7A1, Fort St. Leon subdivision number 2, Square A, by Bryant, Hammond, and Associates, certified by U. McCurdy III, PLS, dated January 28, 2025, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the Parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines Parish government or the Parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Second.
Second by Councilman Newsom. Any comments from the audience, administration, table? I'm sorry, Mr. Brox.
Clarence Brox, 156 Enos Camel Lane. the subdivision on the East Bank. And that's just to subdivide
No, this is not on East Bank.
it's on the West Bank?
Yes.
Oh, they're supposed to change it to your name?
Yeah, that's why they didn't change the name. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, all right. All right. I know the guy who's doing this now. He might be my next door neighbor, that's why I want to know.
McCarthy.
Okay, I am offering this because it is in District 5. And I would like to strongly encourage that we each talk to the council member before we offer something in another council member's district and communicate. Thank you.
So it's been offered by Ms. Carty and second by Newsom. Any other comments from the audience? Administration table. Machine is open for voting. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
2, an ordinance approving a plan of re-subdivision of the property SGH WD1 LLC, Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, as shown on the map of re-subdivision, track BP1 into tracks BP1A, BP1B, and BP1C, Bohemia Plantation by Bryant Hammond and Associates, certified by U. McCurdy III, PLS, dated December 16th, 2024, the owners having fulfilled all of the requirements of the subdivision and re-subdivision ordinance of the parish of Plaquemines without cost to the Plaquemines parish government or the parish of Plaquemines, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offered. Second by who? Okay. Hubble. Oh, definitely Hubble. Any comments from the audience? Table.
This is your neighborhood.
I'm just a little concerned, there's going to be a subdivision, it could be campus, or RV campus, or it could be just about anything. And is this individual, I'd like to see the person get the land and do what he got to do with his own property, but I just want to know what he going to put there before he get approved, so we can know what to expect. Can that be done? Or
Yes.
if it can't, I understand. But I just like to know what's coming there. I don't want to be a chemical plant.
Definitely another can. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mr. Brock, this is a property is in a A2 area.
Mm-hmm.
So can't put no chemical plant A2. So that's one thing. I think we have somebody who's going to answer your questions at the mic.
Okay. All right. I don't have nothing against it, but I just want to know. Yes.
Hugh McCurdy III. My office is 8649 Belchas Highway. I prepared this, and I've been working with the owners. The whole purpose for this, there's an existing injection well that's on the property, and it has tanks and what have you, and it's all non-combustible materials. And the owner wants to sell just where the existing facility is, and they plan on putting a dock in the river and running a pipeline to be able to put whatever chemicals that they're putting in this injection well. It's not oil field related. These are fertilizer people, is what they are, what their business is. So the whole purpose for this is just to subdivide out that facility that's already there. It's the only reason for it. No residential, no commercial, no anything. That's the whole purpose of it.
Thank you. Any other comments? Machine is open for voting. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to initiate zoning district classification map changes pursuant to Section 12 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, to amend the Comprehensive Zoning District map therein adopted as amended of Section 4 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
For discussion?
Second by Mr. Nakanovich for discussion. Any comments from the audience?
Yes, Warren Lawrence, 120 Timber Canal Lane. The only question I have, it's listed as an ordinance, and should it be a resolution? I mean, you're not trying to create an ordinance on this, just a review, aren't you? It's more like a resolution. It don't seem like we're actually trying to initiate the ordinance itself right now. I thought it was a resolution for us to look at it and make comment on. Is this to be addressed as an ordinance today?
Yeah, it honestly could have went either way. I drafted it as an ordinance, but all the ordinance is doing is initiating the process to the zoning board. So it doesn't actually adopt any new maps or anything like that. But it's an ordinance, but there's nothing untoward or inappropriate about it.
I was just questioning, and maybe I missed it because I haven't been here in a long time, but I never did see ordinances sent to the planning and zoning board to go in to have a study or something or have comments come in on it. It seems like it's always been a resolution. That's all. I'm confused as why it's listed as an ordinance or a resolution for final passage where it's not. I know we're for discussion only, but that's my question is, I just thought it should have been a resolution. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and once again, there might have been smaller matters taken up before by the council where maybe we just did a resolution. Nothing really requires it to be a resolution or an ordinance because this is such a significant change. I did it as an ordinance. And so, but once again, all the ordinance does is initiate the process to move things forward. After all the public meetings are had, after all the comments and the feedback have had, and the recommendation report comes into the council, then a separate ordinance will be introduced to actually adopt whatever the proposed amended changes will be in the future. So once again, could have been a resolution or ordinance. I chose ordinance, but it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you.
Any other comments from the audience? Table. Machine is open for, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see Mr. LaFrance.
Discussion only. So the only thing this ordinance does is take it and send it to the zoning board.
Correct. It takes these maps and it says because when you read the zoning book, there's three ways you can initiate a process, and basically it's an application. And typically it's a private citizen, right? Or a zoning board official, or in this case, the government. The government is doing it, the council. And so when you read a zoning book, it actually just says like a motion. But yeah, so this is the government initiating a zoning change, and it's all what's authorized in the zoning book. So this just sends it to them. They will review it, they'll look at the language, they'll post the maps, the public can come comment, all this other stuff, and then we'll get a report after that process is over, and then a council member here will have to introduce the actual ordinance with the actual changes, which then will have a whole nother, public meeting at the council, and then the council will vote to finally adopt or reject whatever's proposed.
Are you?
Mr. Schultz.
So my question is, why are we, I'm not opposed to this in general after talking to some residents in the area, but why are we as the government doing blanket rezoning? Why aren't the individual property owners that normally do it doing this?
The economic development director or the parish president can speak more to that. It is authorized. I mean, if you read the zoning book, it allows the government can come in and do sweeping changes. Obviously, what's going on in this area is major change. Correct. And so in a way, it doesn't make sense because some residents may not ever want to come in and do anything. And so if they don't, then, then it wouldn't get done. So but if the government is trying to actually, change the way certain things are done and allow for this type of activity, make it easier for business while also protecting residents in general, this would be the route you would go. You would go the whole government route, and that's why it was done this way. Because, you have the port doing individual parcels, and then you almost, at a certain point, you kind of start getting into spot zoning, where you're like, doing spot zoning in this huge area for all these various different parcels. And so this is an opportunity for government to look at it from a comprehensive point of view, come up with a plan that will hopefully accommodate everyone and move this thing forward.
So do each individual property owner has to agree to the?
No, they do not
What
have.
happens if
They do not have to agree.
Does that automatically change them, or what happens if they object? What happens if they object? Does that
They can-
just take them out of the change, or how does that work?
So no. I mean, so essentially, a property owner can come to the public meeting and they can voice their opposition or whatever. The government then has to make a decision based off of that, whether they want to move forward or not move forward. We do not need a property owner's permission to change their zoning. That can be done at the governmental level without a property owner's permission. So that's what. That is, it doesn't happen often, but that's certainly allowed and what's permitted.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Was there any community engagement involved in this process, since you're saying it's being done in economic development? So obviously there's something economic development thinking about to do this. So have the community been engaged in any kind of meeting?
So that's the process that's about to happen. So what we did, we consulted Mr. Smith and we consulted Mr. Kramer, who both have experience doing this in Orleans Parish. I think they were here at the last meeting and kind of informed you guys what they did and why they did it. And so they drafted this legislation. Obviously, I put it together, but this was their recommendations based off their experience and based on our own zoning rules. The community engagement is about to happen right now. So it's my understanding Ms. Mitra is going to schedule 3 meetings, 2 on the West Bank, 1 on the East Bank. We're going to have this advertised in the paper. Anyone can come and either complain, they can write letters, they can do whatever they want. The zoning board will then take all of that into consideration and provide us with a report on whether or not they recommend this or are opposed to it or want to make suggested changes to it. And then when the ordinance comes up for the council, you all will then have to make a decision. Do we want to move forward with this or do we not? And then, and it's really no different than a single lot, right? Same process. Goes to the zoning board makes a recommendation, it comes to you all can accept the zoning board recommendation or you can reject it. And that way the process is very similar.
We did, I did reach out to, say, Ironton. I let them know that this was in the pipeline. I did not talk to Mr. Lawrence, but I have talked to a couple of residents in the Myrtle Grove subdivision to let them know that this is in the pipeline as well, to be aware of what's going on so that they can participate in these town halls.
You want, yes.
Vic Scarsoni, 125 Wood Chase. I'm the part of the zoning board, and I have a few questions. In this area, you're talking about from La Receipt to, where did it say, to West Point Lahash, pretty much. Currently, what is all that land zoned at? Do you know offhand?
Most of it's floodplain.
Is it A2 or is it just floodplain?
Some of it I think is A2, but most of it is floodplain.
Okay, because I hear this talk about spot zoning a lot. And I did a little research, talked to Amitra about it. Just for a little education, spot zoning is an issue with the parish, and the zoning board does look at spot zoning quite hard. However, back in the day before zoning was all put in through the parish, they came up with this, we have to rezone everything or zone everything. And at that point, pretty much the whole parish was zoned A because they had to zone it something. The little communities they had made those residential. They had some businesses, made those commercial, some heavy industrial. So they had already had it when they did their zoning. However, anything that wasn't residential, heavy industrial, all that stuff became A. It was a holding zone. I'd say right now, if I had to guess, maybe 95% of our parish is still A. So if you have a whole parcel, a big parcel, say 50 acres, 2,000 acres, whatever, and it's all A, and it's individual lots, A, as far as you can see. In order to put a zone, from what I understand, in the middle of that to a MH, to a commercial, heavy industrial, is not considered a spot. A is just a holding place. Now, if you have R, and you put C in the middle of that, that is definitely a spot. So thinking that just because it's A, and you want to put C in the middle of it to the board, that's not considered a spot. I'm not sure if I'm being clear, but that's how the A's came about. We didn't start with everything and say we're going to make this A, and then we're going to make this A, and then everything was pretty much A when we started the whole process. I know that the floodplain is a big issue with this, and I'm not sure that maybe, I mean, you're the lawyer, but I'm not sure if you can go into somebody's property and say, I'm going to zone you something you don't want to zone. I would think that would be a court challenge. Because you could take, in that theory, you could take a commercial property and say that now the council wants to make it residential. So how does that happen?
The council can change zoning at any time. I mean, that is one of the core powers of local government, is to change zoning, amend zoning. I mean, clearly as parishes grow, local municipalities grow, they constantly change. I'm sure 50 years ago when you looked at Phoenix, 3 miles from the center was farmland. Well, now it's 10 miles from the center is all residential. And so, that's the flexibility allowed local governments. And so at any time, local government can come in and change zoning, and that's one of their core functions and powers. It's to protect the at large. It's to protect the community at large. I mean, that's the whole basis, for this process.
Right, and part of being the
and look, and one other thing too on the A thing, and look, I don't want to I'm not questioning your history on it because you may be more well versed than I am. Whatever it was at one point. And I understand it may have been a placeholder for legal purposes. It's really irrelevant at this point. I mean, we have an A1, we have an A2. A1 and A2 have permitted uses just like every other zoning district. They have conditional uses just like every other zoning district. So yes, maybe at one time because this community was a lot more rural, that was the idea or the intent. But for legal purposes now, we treat it no differently than we do any other zoning district.
I got that. Another thing I would incur, maybe you or maybe somebody from the parish representative, prior to this meeting that we're going to have to propose this to the board, I would maybe ask for a meeting prior to that to find out where does the parish want to go with this, and we can have a good understanding of really where we're going to go with this before we get presented with here it is.
Yeah, look,
just so we're at the front of it and not just getting sideswiped by, oh my God, what do we do now?
I'm sure the parish president, Mr. Marco, and only up to 4 council members would be willing to meet with any of the zoning board members to the extent you all would like to have a preliminary meeting.
That'd be fine, and I would recommend that to the board itself, to the zoning board or development board. That way, like I said, so we're educated prior to this meeting, so we don't get sideswiped and don't know what's going on and have all kind of questions and stuff like that. We could ask the questions up front that we know we ask the people that want to do this. So.
Sounds reasonable to me.
Thank you very much.
And what you just said is really my position, is that this should have been done before. Community meeting should have been done first. Obvious, there's a plan for this. You need this to do the plan, and then once we get the plan, you put it. I think it should have been done in concert with people before you come in, because you won't be doing this unless you have a plan. Right. So I just see this, and we hear this a lot. We're going to have the community meeting, but you have the community after you done made the decision what really going here. And this is a continued pattern I see. I'm a firm believer that if what you're doing is no banana, you can go to the community and say, this is what we oppose, what you're thinking about it. But this would be done the opposite way. because you're the zoning board. A lot of people don't know what's really happening again, and it's just been a continuous practice. And I hope we get past that where we trust the community enough. But we got an idea, we want to propose it to you before we bring it to the parish government or before we bring it to zoning. But so we go in there in unity with each other doing it. This is not happening in this case. So I'm with you 100% on it, and I'm hoping at some point we change the practices that we're doing.
I just fear that we're going to have the deer in the headlight look when they come to this, and we go, oh my God, what are they talking about? So I'm just trying to head that off at the pass.
Well,
Thanks.
let me just defend the administration. That was obviously never the intent. Until you put words on paper, it's hard for anyone to consider or look at anything. I mean, to go to the public and say, what do you guys want? They're not even going to know where to start. So we had to put words on a page, we had to put words on a paper, and we had to start somewhere. And we used the experts in the field to get that going. No one's trying to pull any wool on anyone's eyes. We're going to have a lot of transparency on this. But in order to get something before the zoning board, someone has to initiate it. And in this case, it's being initiated by the government. And look, if the council members make a recommendation that they want another public hearing or another public meeting, or they're not satisfied with something, the administration will take that obviously into consideration before it's brought back for you all for a vote. Because at the end of the day, if y'all aren't satisfied, it's not going to happen. It's not going to pass. And so if after our 3 meetings there are still concerns and issues, we'll address them. But not until this body is prepared to vote on it, would we even bring it to you all? Because the whole purpose of this thing is not to have it fail. It's to kind of move our parish in the right direction.
Well, I would take some exception. I don't think that this is a concept. Somebody knows what this is about. I just refuse to believe that somebody don't have a plan in mind. They did this from a plan, And so again, I will still hold my position, on what I say is that this is not just happening out of the sky. Somebody have a plan and something in mind, or we wouldn't be doing this. And I'm just saying you could bring that to the community. I am not moving from my position on this. I'm not moving from my position. Okay. Thank you, sir. Mitch, I'm sorry.
So, this is.
Wait a minute.
Can you put Mitch on?
You did.
I did.
One more time.
All right.
Mitch, you need me up here?
Yeah. Huh?
You need me up here? Or?
No, I don't need you up here. No, I'm looking at it. I understand your concerns, but this is the corridor where the port is, where all of this has happened, all this, industry. If we're going to move forward, we want to be ahead of the game and not have to go through and try to keep rezoning as we go along. And anybody can come in and they can go to the zoning board meeting and fight it at the zoning board meeting. This is just a tool to get that map out there. Without a map, you can't explain to nobody, without the words, you can't explain it, correctly. And that's all this is to do, is to move it to where they can get it to the public. That's all I have.
And it's my understanding the council did pass a resolution for us to do this. The corridor, huh? Okay, it was up. Okay. I know it was discussed.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hi, David Clark, 108 Avenue A in Bell Chase. That's kind of what I was hinting to at the first of the meeting when he gave his presentation. Shouldn't just go to the public first. I mean, I'm with Mr. Edwards. There's something we're trying to do here. And be straight up with the residents and let them know what our plans are. Me, I've questioned about the property lines, who drew the lines, and because I'm a half mile or less than where this line is drawn. If I stand a chance of rezoning my property, that doubles the value. So there's definitely going to be some mentioning of that at the town hall, but I would like to have that first before we move forward with anything. I understand that this is just putting it in place, right?
If we don't move forward,
Right. Yeah, but I'm with Mr. Edwards. I think there's something that we're wanting to do, and I agree with this. Yeah, we need to develop, and we need to grow, and we need to expand. But a lot of people want to see that, but they want to hear about it first and be part of that growth, and not waiting to see it at the polls or something. And taking stuff to the zoning board, that doesn't mean anything. So I appreciate it. Thanks.
Anything from the administration table? The machine is open. Huh? Discussion on, okay. So I hope we consider all the comments that were made by everyone. Next item, please.
An ordinance to initiate text amendments pursuant to Section 12 of ordinance number,
What are we doing with this legislation?
No, it was just discussion. It was just for discussion.
Yeah, just for discussion, but I can make a move on.
So what's your pleasure?
Well, let's go on and continue on the meeting, and we'll come back.
So currently you defer?
Yeah, currently I defer.
Okay, thank you.
Temporary hold.
Yeah.
Next item, please.
an ordinance to initiate text amendments pursuant to Section 12 of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, to enact a proposed new Article MU Mixed Commercial Industrial District and amend Article L Heavy Industrial District and Section 3 definitions of Ordinance Number 142, the Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
I think that's going to be the same thing, huh?
Yeah, so this is, the last ordinance was,
Oh, hold on.
oh, I'm sorry.
No.
I was going to explain it.
Second, okay.
So these, yeah, they're companions. The first one we just discussed was the maps. So you have to adopt the maps. There's also what's called text amendments. And so that means not when you're adopting a map necessarily, but when you're changing the actual text of the comprehensive zoning ordinance. So that's what this is. This is to create a new zoning district called mixed-use commercial industrial district. You'll see that on the maps. If you look at the maps, it explains all the permitted uses. It also makes some small changes to the industrial I-3 rules and regulations. It provides setbacks for those different things. It expands what environmental impact use includes to include the batcher from here on out. And so that's what this is. This is about the actual text amendments. The most important thing about this is the setbacks, right? I mean, we all know we know that there's going to be some industry going there. I think there are two important things to know and note. Number one is, to the extent industry gets anywhere near any residences, there are setbacks and boundaries, and you'll find that under Section 2. And the other important thing I think the council needs to remember is that any heavy industry still has to go through the environmental review process. And so I don't want you to think because you adopt this that all of a sudden industry can come in and do whatever they want. If it involves heavy chemicals, processing, etc., even if the property is rezoned, they still have to come to the council and get that environmental review done before the council, and then the council ultimately has the thumbs up, thumbs down on whether or not that particular type of industry can go in that particular location.
Mr. Henry.
Yes, Arthur Henry Belchase. Mr. Hinckley, you and Rennie, I commend you guys. Listen, we have a situation here in the parish now where, we did it years ago when we decided to put the port right there where it should have been over the river. We made that decision to put it there, but it's in the middle of the parish on the West Bank. I-3 and MU, oh man, that's heavy. That's heavy stuff. And that could divide this parish, believe me. When something cross Highway 23, if you have a bad explosion like we be having in Houston with some of this stuff, the parish is cut in half. We have a tough situation here. And it's, it's something that was did, and we got to be able to live with it. Some of the MU uses and the I-3 heavy industrial uses, I have a little problem with that. The buffer zones, to save some of the communities, this should be a little farther extended, But eventually, if we want to develop a port, I agree with you, Mitch. If The people made that decision a couple of weeks ago. Look, we got to be able to go through this. And the people in Belchase does not escape, because we got the traffic right now from Venture Global. And that's going to persist in the future, because the expansion is down in the middle of the parish on the West Bank. So it's good planning ahead, but there are some issues we all got to resolve. And it's not going to be easy for everybody. Everybody on the West Bank going to have to make a little sacrifice on this deal. Whether we like it or not, we got to make a choice how we want to deal with it, though. We got to put our heads together and come up with a good solution that would really satisfy everyone. Thank you.
Clarence Brooks, 156 Enos Camelland. For the last two discussions, I don't think I hear that industrial plants and industrial is coming. And like I said before, I know I can't stop it. Industries are coming in Plaquemine Parish. They're going to be on the lower end of Plaquemine Parish. But I'm just telling y'all, be careful and look out for the little people. We are small communities, and you're saying you're going to take care of Ironton, Myrtle Grove, and West Pernash, but a lot of this stuff going to affect the East Bank also. When you build these plants, right now, I just heard one of the council persons saying, do the power driving at a certain time of night. We got it all day, all night, and affecting us. You know, we getting used to it, like Mr. Mitch say, we would get used to the noise and stuff. Industries are coming, just don't forget us, about us. We there. Y'all found us there. I've been there for 70 years, so I know we've been there. So when the industry come, I know we can't stop it, because you already been saying that that's big, it's way above our pay grade, that we cannot stop it. And if y'all, taking orders and instructions from other places, I want y'all to stand up for us. Y'all say that y'all gonna look out for the people of the parish. So when people tell y'all stuff that gonna hurt us, y'all gotta stand up for us. Thank you.
It's Warren Lawrence, 120 Timber Canal Lane, and I have to say, just what the gentleman just said, look out for the residents. We built in a parish. We know we don't have the infrastructure to accommodate what's going to go there. When that is still adage of, you build it and they shall come. But the ones that they shall come don't upgrade our infrastructure. And if you're looking for the state to come in and do a expressway above ground through Belchase all the way to Venice, so we can have an infrastructure to handle what this heavy industrial. This port is talking about a container port. I met with a couple councilmen here, and they told me this container port, don't worry about it, in the sense that only 25% of these containers will be handled by truck. I don't know what 25% of what number is. We can't handle the truck traffic on this highway now. God help it, the highway needs to be replaced. How are we going to do it and still use the highway is beyond my pay grade for sure. But I can tell you it's deplorable, the condition of the highway now. It's tearing up vehicles as he goes along. It's not going to get better. It looks like we need some kind of moratorium on finding out what is the planning for the infrastructure before we come in and invite, we want growth. We're in control growth. That don't kill the people who put all their hopes, prayers, and money in coming into this parish. I'm one of them. My kids don't even want to come here now. God help me try to sell. Our property has been devalued already. The more you put, the more you kill the value. And not only in Myrtle Grove, Arlington, and down below. Belle Chase is taking the first brunt up front. And it's not, do we think Walker Road is going to do the extension, is going to help this? Believe me, if this train's come through and you put a container port, Belle Chase will feel it. This new bridge, God help the people on Woodland. They're going to get initiation in what traffic really means. You're going to change it from a no truck zone and try to force everybody to go over the bridge. I don't know the answers to it, and I know we need a study. Again, I just go back that I don't know what the answer is, but I know this isn't the answer. Come to the people first. Let the people talk. Don't hide it. Who's pushing this? I'm going to tell you straight up my opinion. It's Pobby and the port. Why don't they just come out and introduce it as their part of what it done? That's who wants it done. Pobby, in my opinion, runs the parish. Thank you.
Mr. Champagne.
You know, this parish is known for its resiliency. It's been through a lot with hurricanes, economic upturns, downturns. I sat here for 2.5 years listening to fearmongers saying, well, we can't do this, we can't do that, we're not planning. That's a bunch of malarkey. This council has been working very hard on infrastructure improvements, working in conjunction with the port, trying to get potable water pushed down to the low end of the parish because we recognize that's an issue. We're working diligently to do that. We're working to get another bridge here. We've heard you loud and clear. We're trying to do things to improve this parish. We hear that there's no economic opportunities here, but the minute you try to present some type of economic opportunity, people push back. Everybody wants progress, but no one wants change. There's going to be change. Now, to suggest that the parish is trying to do this and plan in a vacuum is absurd. We've sat here and said we need a plan. The administration gets an economic development section, got Ms. Kelly DeMarco. She's put together something on paper that we can look at for the first time and say, now that we have this plan on paper, you can look at this. Now we want you to chew it up. We're inviting you to chew it up and have your input. And I say chew it up, put your input in it and come up with great ideas. We're going to come out with a better solution than what we're about to present. But my goodness, we've got to present you something. To suggest that there's something nefarious going on, that's an insult to me and the other 8 up here. Pobby doesn't run this parish, but I'll tell you, Pobby's not all bad. These are some people that are trying to do some things. I work for a company that's involved in Pobby. They're good people there. There's people in this audience maybe a part. They're trying to improve this parish. The port's trying to improve this parish. If not for the port, we don't have the booster station. We don't have the water lines being installed. We don't have the revenue to improve this parish. So to say the port is working against the parish is a misstatement. And maybe we are doing a bad job of informing the public, but my goodness, we're trying to do better. That's why we sit here, we listen to what you have to say, and we try to make improvements. I think the administration has done a fine job putting something on paper. This is the first time we have something ever. Now that we have, we're going to show it to you and say, help us make it better. That's the invitation. It's an open invitation to everybody in this parish to show up. Now, we have town halls. I've been to one where nobody shows up. I've been to one where 5 people show up, 10 people. Show up. We want your input. We want to make this place better. But when we have these things, no one shows up, and then folks come to meetings and say we're not trying to do anything. That's disingenuous. And I hear everything you're saying. I live here. All of us live in this parish. We want to make it better. We're looking for ways to make it better. And we admit we don't have all the answers. We're trying to present opportunities for you all to help us make it better. And please do. But we got to start somewhere. This is an effort to show you something and say, let's make this better where it works for us, for the people of Plaquemines Parish. We want to respect the culture of this parish. We want to make sure that we protect areas like Arlington, areas like Myrtle Grove, West Point, Lahash. That's clearly something we want to do. Woodland Plantation. That is something we're looking at, but we need your input on this. So to sit here and say we shouldn't move forward is a step backwards. So I challenge you to be a part of this process. Let's move forward on this. Let's put pen to paper and work collectively as a community and build the best parish out there. We've got an opportunity here, y'all. Let's not just sit back and say, yeah, we want progress, but we don't want change. This is ridiculous. I don't want to move forward. I challenge you to move forward. I yield.
Shows.
So,
no, Mr. Brock, that's it.
Where are the MU mixed commercials? I mean, looking at it, it looks like it's right next to all of our communities right now. And that's my concern, because right next to these communities, this is a whole new zoning classification. And you can have parking garages, hotels, all this other stuff, and then even conditional uses, childcare center. So we're going to have a parking garage and oil field right next to a childcare center. Like, this doesn't make sense why we're creating this MU mixed commercial industrial district. And what is
The whole concept is to put, this is initiating this kind of conversation.
no, not on this one. This doesn't go.
No, this is, but that, at the same time, that can be changed.
MU does not allow for heavy industry. If you look at MU and you look at the things available, it's mostly commercial stuff. Boat houses, churches, clinics, fishing, offices.
Yeah, I see that.
There is light manufacturing, which is permitted in I-1, not an I-3. So I-3 is your typical heavy industry. I-1 is your light industry. And once again, you would laundromats, hotels, fix-it, marine services, supply companies. I mean, so I don't think it's true to say that we're allowing heavy I-3 industrial uses near these residences. If you look at MU mixed, it's much, much lighter commercial uses.
Okay, and then,
And a lot of that's already allowed through the floodplain.
yeah, I get. I'm just, that's my main concern, is everything else, the I-3 and all this, I'm not so much opposed to. Is the MUs, the wide range of stuff that we can do. And then it's right next to our communities down there in Myrtle Grove, Ironton. That's my main concern. And then again, if some, I yield. I had something else I was going to say, but I forgot.
Once again, the other thing too is the buffer, that there is significant buffers in here, which if the council is not satisfied with the buffers that were put in here, as the parish president said, y'all can increase it. We can increase the buffers if you all. So just because you do have an MU next to a potential residential area doesn't mean you can't expand the buffers to make that even more dramatic if you want. But I would encourage y'all to take read it and look at it.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'll finish mine. But the last thing I was going to say to Mr. Lawrence is the port, we have certain property that we're targeting which ones we're rezoning. And that's my view, who's doing what. The port, it's already going through the zoning process and the public can come and talk. This is to start it, but it's a lot more property. And I get why we're doing it, because a lot of these properties right now need to be changed because you can't build a residential or anything right next to Venture Global, even though, so let's do it as a blanket. I'm mainly concerned right now with the MU mixed commercial, the range of things that you can do. But that's the difference between the port. We already started that process. We picked out, or we own the lots, and we're going after those particular lots to rezone. And I think April 15th or something like that, 25th, I don't know. 15th is when that zoning board meeting is to go over those properties. So I want to address that concern that you had about the port. And if you want to come really quick.
Well, the only thing I'd like to clarify, and when I said the infrastructure and he mentioned the water main, you're right. And we knew we needed that long before. That's done a lot because Venture Global came here. Look at it and say the truth. Before down the road had water problems, before that, when they came, I don't know how much they paid to help give them the amount of water they need. But need to be the case. My part of the infrastructure is the traffic. What's going to happen to the highway? Tell me the plans that we have for the future of that highway. Is that highway suitable for what you plan on doing here? In your mind, if you think that highway is suitable right now, I don't know what plans, or if we're going to be discussing an over West Bank Expressway through Belchase or what. Something has to be done for traffic. We can't get out of our subdivision now. Get this expansion done. And, you know, I believe in growth, but I believe in controlled growth and having the infrastructure to handle the growth that you wish to put in. And if you can give me a plan on what's going to happen to this parish on traffic, or we're going to expect the state to come in and do something, we ought to know what that plan is to do now. Because it's not just the lower part of the parish that's affected by the Walker Road Bridge. If you think that's the answer to the lower end, and the highway can stay what it is, that's more power to you. My opinion is, until I get an answer on what the infrastructure for roadway, I agree with you with the water. And I think I know what drove the water to where it's at today. And it wasn't because the parish needed more water pressure long before Venture Global was here. On the East Bank, they need water problems. We knew from the asbestos lines over there, cast iron lines, the old smaller lines they had, it hadn't been addressed. Maybe if that port would have gone over there, they'd be putting a big water line on that side and a new purification plant on that side. But that's just my opinion. And PIB, in my opinion, drives for growth. And PIB never, in my opinion, drives for residents' care. I'm a resident. I'm not opening a factory. I'm a resident. I want to be protected. And I don't think you have the infrastructure to protect me. Thank you.
I'm cut. Okay. Before you come, Mr. Brock, because I stopped you from coming up, so let me get you up. Well, I'm saying, but again, that's what I'm saying.
This is more like a town hall.
Well, again,
This is more like a town hall. We need to get back.
I can sit back down. That's all right. I'm cool.
But that's what I was saying at the very beginning when they called them
This is
up.
not the place to discuss this. We hold town halls. That's why y'all need to come to town hall.
Mr. LaFrance did offer the open discussion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He offered, but he offered for open discussion, and open discussion means open discussion, regardless of how heated it is. And so again, Mr. Lawrence has spoken, and sat down, and I stopped Mr. Brock from talking. But then when Mr. Schultz called him back up, exactly. But again, we'll let Mr. Palasko come in, and I just want to have it, but he would got the same opportunity. That's all I was doing, because since it was up for discussion. Mr. Brock, you yielding? Okay, Mr. Palasko.
I'll be quick, Mitch. Leo Palazzo, 708 Springtime, Belchase, Louisiana. I appreciate all you guys. I really do. I appreciate the administration, the council. I know these are some of the times of the issues. I've been here. I've been in that seat. I've worked with everybody before. And I think we all are in agreement that we want this parish to grow. We want this parish to be beautiful. We want the best for this parish. And I know that's why each and every one of you is sitting where you are. And I know each and every one of you is trying to do that. And the reality, like Chris said, what we've done is we have two and probably a lot more big industries that are coming in, which is a good thing. That's a great thing for this parish. But as a result of these big industries coming in, they have resulted in that we need now to change the zoning. I own a piece of property in this particular area that I spent an exorbitant amount of money to build my resident, because I am a resident, and I spent an exorbitant amount of money to build a home in that property. But as a result of Katrina, I ended up with 15 feet of water on that property because we didn't have the back levees to support a home site. We didn't have those back levees. Now, because we have the industries coming in, building up those back levees, we've created an industry area, not a residential area. Not a residential area. And the industry area is what we need to grow. And we've picked it. We have it with the port. We have it with the LNG. And it's going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And we're blessed. We're blessed with that. So this is a good thing. This really is a good thing. It's a win-win-win situation. I've talked to everybody in that area. I've talked to a lot of people outside that area. And everybody that I've talked to is in favor of it. So I'm asking you to vote for it today. Let's don't talk about it. Let's vote for it. Because the only thing you're voting for is to move the process forward. And I've also sat on the zoning board, too. So I know what the zoning board's responsibilities are. And we will have those opportunities, Mitch, to do these forums, too, in the zoning board and the town meetings, too, to talk more about this in more details. So I appreciate you again. I'm asking you, let's move it forward. Vote for it today. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Scott.
I just wanted to make a brief comment. There was some comment about how someone else is experiencing banging and pounding from the port development. Is it next to your house? That's all I'm saying. The people in District 5, it is within 50 feet or less of their house. And I just wanted you to realize the difference. Thank you.
So this was only for discussion. So we're going to defer this. Next item, please.
B, an ordinance approving the extension of the lease between the Plaquemines Parish Government and the Shipyard Service LLC pursuant to LARS 41-1217 with all of its requirements having been fulfilled by leasee without any cost to the Plaquemines Parish Government or the Parish of Plaquemines and without warrant of title by Plaquemines Parish Government, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Kotnovich.
Offered by Mr. Conover, second by Mitch. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I need some clarity on what we just did. Did we defer these other things?
Yes.
Or did we withdraw it? Because we didn't hear it down here at all.
Yeah, it would defer.
Thank you. I have nothing on these.
Okay. Machine is open for voting. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, repairs Diamond Park project, and otherwise.
Defer.
Well, no, let me offer it for discussion. The only thing I'm gonna say, they completed the soil boring today, and I guess y'all will be getting the results. Okay? Defer.
Defer.
No, we had enough of that. We don't have infrastructure.
E, an ordinance declaring a temporary housing need continues to exist in Plaquemines Parish pursuant to subsection 6 of section 12 of the comprehensive zoning ordinance of Plaquemines Parish, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember LaFrance.
So offered.
Second by Mr. Conovich. Any comments from the audience? From the administration? From the table? I'm sorry, Mr. Schultz.
So are we making any changes to this temporary at all? I mean, we put a moratorium in place our first year to make changes. Nothing happened. We have a moratorium in your district to make changes. As far as I know, nothing's happened so far. I have an issue with temporary, really not even requiring any input from the neighboring properties. While permanent, if you got to do rezoning, you got to go to the zoning board, get public comment, all this other stuff. At this point, by the time this gets done with all the LNG plants, we're talking about 8 to 10 years. To me, that's not temporary housing anymore. I mean, I just, between temporary rules, permanent rules, 2 or less rules, everything with RVs right now, in my opinion, is a complete mess. And all we're going to do is just say, okay, renew. I mean, I'm just asking, are we making any change? I mean, my understanding is this is the same ordinance that was passed back in 22.
Right, but I think it's being offered because
Correct. It expires, but.
But I spoke to Kim, and I thought we were supposed to,
Amitra was going to contact you.
okay, that we was gonna do something, that they introduced something today, where we could start amending, you know, this ordinance. For some reason it didn't happen.
Okay.
So you wanted to defer to get together with her?
Defer.
Yeah.
You get my understanding. I mean, we have so many issues with. Exactly, I know, and that's the thing. Now's the time to change it before we just extend it.
So let me just say this. Whatever y'all are thinking, because it's the first time hearing of this, that please get with me. If we don't do something, I just want everyone to understand that the temporary RV parks that have been previously approved will have to shutter no matter what. This ordinance is simply the authority to allow temporary RVs to exist. It's not about rules. It's not about regulations. It's not about zoning. It's not about any of that. It just simply says that we're saying that we want to allow temporary for 3 more years. If we don't do this, they will have to shutter. If you want to amend rules and regulations related to RV parks, we need to do it through the RV park ordinance. That's not what this is. So I will help y'all and assist y'all with that. I just want to make sure we do it the right way. And if we're talking about zoning, you certainly can't do it because zoning requires that we go through the comprehensive zoning process. So that's all I'll mention to y'all. But
I don't have the answer. That's District 7, 8, and 9 that really have to deal with it. But my thing is, if the way things go around here, we renew, we pass something and say we're going to work on it, but never do. Yeah. So I'm not comfortable with just saying, oh, let's continue temporary and then never make a change. I'm tired. I'm sure everybody up here is tired of the RV. Every time an RV permit comes up or something, it's always a cluster.
And in the past, we did come up with an RV ordinance, but it got shot down.
And currently temporary. I think also currently temporary RVs are Diamond South is my understanding. So this isn't parish wide. It's Diamond South. But anyway,
Mr. Champagne.
I think we owe it to the people who have made significant investments in this parish to build some of these temporary RV parks, and many of them are very nice. We owe them some stability. They needed to know that we move forward and they don't have to shutter their place in basically 2.5 weeks. So they got to start pulling them out. We owe them that. We need to have the fortitude here to say, okay, we're going to move forward and amend it later if we need to. But I'll tell you, our issue, we have rules on the books now. We have rules on the books, and we would just enforce them. We just put code enforcement. We need to have the intestinal fortitude to go ahead and to these people who are in violation, go ahead and fine them and make them move their stuff. You know, so we can say, oh, we got to May 15th to make this happen. But if you're somebody who's about to get their park closed down, you're not waiting to May 15th, because what's next? We're going to start fining you?
Y'all need to want to hear everybody hear what you're saying, because there's some other conversation.
You hear what I'm saying? I mean, we owe these people an answer. Because guess what? It ends on May 15th. What does that mean for them? That means they have to make plans. So we need to make this happen soon. 26, whatever it is. I don't care if it's a month, 2 months.
well, three years is the maximum. It doesn't have to be 3 years, but like you were talking about earlier, what you're just saying about, you know, investments and whatnot. Yes. That's 3 is the maximum. So it doesn't have to be 3, but that's.
We talk about bringing business here, guys. It sends a message that we're all over the doggone place. We need to have some stability in our business making decisions.
Defer, we still talking about it in defer. Yeah.
So the deadline, we got more than 2 weeks, right?
The current ordinance expires May 26. So technically, by May 26, the council will not have said there is a need for temporary housing. So therefore, all temporary. Well, right. No, I'm just telling you, May 26th is around the corner. So if y'all are doing major revisions or whatnot, I think to Mr. Champagne's point, we need to do it soon.
Skonovich, any closing thoughts?
Well, all this says is we extending the date. It doesn't say anything about how they get to build it, but if it goes past that date, y'all voted on it, that everything above ground has to come out. Any sewage pipe, vent pipes, electric pipes, everything has to come out. So.
Okay, let's go. Next one.
Okay. I'm sorry, you've been standing for a while.
No, it's
No,
over.
it's over.
Deferred.
Yeah, it's been deferred.
F, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget legal judgments department for payment of a pending claim and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
I offered in behalf of legal department. Second. Legal.
So this is from a project from a while back where we were extending sewage down through the Jesuit Bend area, and we put a lift station, and when I say we, I mean our contractors and engineers, put a lift station 10 feet off of the servitude from where, I think it's a little more than 10 feet off the servitude from where it should have been. And so, and because the property is a narrow piece of property, it really limited the property owner's ability to use this property. So I got appraisals to figure out what the difference is so we could compensate that property owner. We do intend to go after both the contractor and the engineer to recoup these funds, but this will allow us to settle up with the property owner and get that issue resolved and then move forward on the other stuff I just discussed.
Any comments from the audience? Table. Machine is open. And this passes 8 with no from Councilman Schultz. Next item, please.
G, an ordinance to amend the 2025 general fund operating expenditure budget legal judgments department and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
Offered on behalf of the legal department. Second by Councilman Skonovich.
Mr. Tuesday's been working on this. This is a claim that we're just looking to finalize and close out. As you all know, on these workers' compensation claims, we've been bleeding out a lot over many years, and Mr. Tuesday's been trying to settle these claims once and for all. That's what this is, so we can settle the claim and move on.
Any questions from the audience? Council? Machines are open.
Mr. Edwards stepped out.
Mr. Edwards stepped out. It passes 8-0. Next item.
Okay. A resolution to adopt the Plaquemines Parish Government 2025 Hazard Mitigation Plan and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
I'll offer for Mr. Edwards. Ask for a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any questions from the audience? Administration? Council? Machines are open. Mitch?
Fresh yes. Fresh yes.
Uh-huh.
So he's on record. He's on record. He gets a verbal yes. He's on record.
Mr. LaFrance stepped away, so.
Wait up,
Mr.
man. I'm the pretty one.
Okay. And they pass 8-0. Next item.
I, an ordinance to amend the 2025 operating revenue and expenditure budgets to accept donations for Plaquemines Parish Day at the Louisiana Legislature and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Edwards.
I'll offer for Mr. Edwards. Ask for a second. Second by Mr. Jurisich. Any questions from the audience? Mr. Henry.
Yes. Hey, when that gorgeous day is?
April 23rd.
Oh, I got $20 to donate, you know. Hey, it's a word to call, though. I get up here and kid every year, but it's really a word to call. Oh, I'll be there. I'll be there.
I'm around with you. Put the top down.
Anyone else from the audience? Administration? Mr. Champagne?
Yeah, before we move on, I'd just like to publicly thank Inframark and Stolthaven for generous contributions to make Blackman's Day successful. I yield.
Thank you. Any other questions? Machine's open. Verbal yes. Uh-huh. It passes 8-0. Next item.
J, an ordinance to amend the 2025 Road Maintenance Fund operating expenditure budget, road maintenance, public right-of-way department, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Champagne.
The Champagne. Mr. Champagne offers there a second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Newsom. Any questions from the audience? Administration? Council? Mr. Newsom.
Yeah, I'd like to thank Mr. Champagne for this. This is well overdue. This building hadn't been touched since we bought this property, which I don't know how long ago, but thank you, Mr. Champagne, for doing it. Mr. Brooks had approached me a while back with this. He told me last year in the building, they had probably trapped, I don't know, almost 20 coons in the building. They had snakes in the building. Because again, this will go a long way in helping, investing, as a government, investing in our most precious resource, our people. So thank you, and I yield.
Any other questions from the council? Machine's open. A verbal yes for me. Mr. Edwards? Mr. Edwards, verbal yes. It passes 9-0. Next item.
A, a resolution to petition and authorize the application for a map change pursuant to and in conformity with the comprehensive zoning ordinance to rezone those certain properties located in Point Celeste Farm subdivision, phases 1 and 2, identified as follows: lots 2A, 35, 36, 49, 57B, 58B, 60B, which are now owned by or to be acquired by Plaquemines Port Harbor and Terminal District from floodplain district to heavy industrial district, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Schultz.
Alderman Schultz has been seconded by who? Dr. Gouet. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table? Machine is open for voting on 9K. And it passes 9-0. Next item, please.
L, an ordinance to amend the 2025 manpower structure and operating expenditure budget, and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Gouet.
No, I'm sorry, which one? Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, I'm deferring that one.
Well, that's Mr. Gouey's legislation.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought it was mine. He's off it, okay. No, you want to go? Come.
It was second.
Any discussion from the audience?
McCarty.
Yeah, I thought it was second.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I second it.
It was.
I have a question or a statement.
Okay.
I thought
Okay, the administration bought this for, sometime last year, the judges came to the administration about holding court over on Main Street. We're mandated to supply security for the court system. So Robin and Clarence are assigned on the East Bank. We didn't have anyone for the West Bank, so we reached out to the sheriff's office. The sheriff's office provided us a detail at $50 an hour. Everyone knows the situation with Miss Robin since the beginning of March, so the detail has gotten even more needed. When the courts approached me, they said it would be like maybe once or twice a month. Well, we have court on Main Street almost every week, sometimes 2-3 days a week at $50 per hour for that detail. So I looked at it, got with finance, and we thought it would be more feasible for us to hire our own security person, and especially with the situation that's going on with Miss Robin right now. So this is what this is about.
I guess it's my turn.
Yes.
I have a few questions about that. One, while Miss Robin is out, don't we have funds in payroll that could pay for a new person since we're not paying her? We're still paying her.
Still paying.
Okay. Mr. Burris, is it legal for us to, you know how you have court fees, to have a court, add to the court fees to pay for this service?
I'd have to go look at that, but the answer is Ms. Crystal is right. The obligation exists for the parish government to fund security for the court system. How fees work, I'm not really sure. I know the DA and the court system gets that for other purposes and uses. Those are specifically spelled out in the statute, and I don't think they include security, but I would have to look at that. Judge Connor did bring to my attention some grant that the state authorizes, but that's for a bailiff, not the courthouse security we're talking about in the front. So, I mean, I'll look into it, but this has always been an obligation of the government, and it just is. It's one of those mandates that we have.
I just like things to pay for themselves, and so I was just wondering.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah, we have each judge has a security. So when the judge travels to the West Bank, why didn't the security come with him? It seems like it makes sense, because if the judge is over here, the security is no longer needed on the East Bank. So I ask you, why haven't they followed that protocol? Then we would have enough. Now, I know Ms. Robbins out. In an interim, maybe we need to hire somebody. That's my question. Why wouldn't security travel with the judge and stay with the judge if they truly need security?
The judges do have security inside the courtroom. That's where that security is placed. But we're responsible for security for the courthouse itself.
Sounds like we have it. It sounds like it's already there.
No.
I just don't have a good understanding of what we're trying to do here. And then I see that these court cases on the West Bank were supposed to be by exception only, and they seem to be growing. And before you know it, we're going to have as much court here as we do on the East Bank, where we have this beautiful courthouse built to accommodate them. So that's my concern. Before you know it, we're going to need court here and there, and I just don't, I really don't understand. I don't understand this process. I mean, I know they've always had two historically. Now all of a sudden it appears we need a third. And, I need to know how we're spending the taxpayers' money.
I'll give you a short answer just to clarify it a little bit. The bailiffs handle court security in the courtroom. The deputies that we are mandated to provide are basically for the facility itself. So some could argue that if you have a large facility, you might need four at one facility to guard all doors, entry and exit. Now, if you had two now and one's on the West Bank and a judge does come to the East Bank or back and forth, then you, in theory, should be splitting those, right? Now, and that's before we had the issue with the employee who's out now on leave. But again, just to clarify that up, the difference between, it's the same way with this building today. We have someone outside at the door. Sometimes we have them inside, kind of in the lobby area, same thing.
Mr. Conover.
Why are we having court on the West Bank when we paid $25 million for a new courthouse on the East Bank?
That would be a question to ask the judges. They just reached out to administration. They were going to be holding drug court and special settings on Main Street and requested security. Now, what their reason, I've heard because of the Puntland Ferry, but that ferry is back in service. People driving all the way to Belchase, and then from down the road, there have been all kinds of reasons. That would be a question for the judges.
All right, because I don't get it. That's why I'm not a judge, I guess.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Will this employee be go through, if we appropriate money, will we have to go through civil service to hire this employee? Is this a civil service employee? No.
No, this is an unclassified position.
It's an unclassified position. Okay. Will it be a?
It's required to be a post-certified law enforcement officer.
Yes.
So will we reach, what's our plans for this? To reach out to the sheriff's department and put somebody there? Is that?
No, we do go through civil service as far as advertising.
Okay.
We would put an advertisement out through civil service. And she will turn all those applications over to administration, and we would go through the process of interviewing.
You said if it's unclassified,
non-civil service.
Why do we go through civil service?
Advertisement.
Why do we don't advertise on our own? Why do we even fool with civil service? It seems to me another cog in the wheel to get, believe me, we all know the issues with civil service have their hands full. Why can't we just advertise?
Civil service has to make the initial determination whether an employee is classified or unclassified. So it's always been that we send the positions to them. We know this position is unclassified because it's always existed, but it's sent through civil service because they have to look at the positions individually and say, yes, this is unclassified. And then we've always just used them for the regular advertising. That's not to say we can't go advertise elsewhere, but she's going to put this on the same form she puts for all the other positions. It's going to get stuck up on the bulletin board and whatever advertisement she does. If we want to advertise more, or that's what y'all want us to do, we can certainly do that.
I think it
Yes,
very much.
and she does not have any input as far as
Hiring.
this person, no grading or anything with this person. All she's going to do is advertise.
And usually we just know, right? The sheriff's office will say, oh, these people are available or they're interested, and, someone kind of rises.
I think we muddy in the water when we're going through civil service with this.
Well, you just have to trust me on this as part of the process.
Mr. Schultz.
So, again, I sent you an email. This is the third time that we've tried, that this has been brought to us. The first time was because of the ferry. Second time was if there was major court going on the East Bank, we got to leave 2 people over there. So we put money in professional services to pay for a detail. Now, I get Miss Robin, but what happens when Miss Robin comes back or retires? Then we're going to have 3 positions. Are we going to get rid of that position and go back to detail? Because this was supposed to, last year, at Plaquemines Day last year, because I remember I was up there when this went to the Senate committee, and to allow court on the West Bank, this was supposed to be 3-4 times a month. It looks like it's happened 2 times, 3 times a week at this point. At what point and options do we have to say,
You guys control that.
yeah, through this, but how else do we control it? It's through this.
This is a fight for the judges right here.
I get it.
The judges requested this, and it's mandated to us that we furnish this court security.
If it's the judges, because if they say no more court, if Ms. Robin, I pray that she do return, but if she does not return, then we have our 2 officers. If the judges said no more court on the West Bank, we don't need a detail for the West Bank. We don't need a person for the West Bank.
Correct. I'm just, I mean, like I said, this is not the first time this has come up, and my understanding at budget time was, okay, now again, I get Miss Robin, it changed some things, but it was supposed to be 2-3 times a month, and that's the professional services detail was enough, and now it's not, and that's, even if again, this is ongoing every couple months. It seems like it comes back up.
It's been a lot since 2025, Roland. As a matter of fact, I checked my emails while we're sitting in here, and I got another date to add to April.
All right, I yield.
Mitch.
Yes. Ms. Taylor, you did a great job explaining it to me yesterday. I'm not going to say where I was because Mr. Lawrence is back there, but anyway, but you did a great job explaining. We're paying $50 an hour, and this would actually save us some money from what we're doing right now. And that's the reason she came forward and explained. I wish you could have got to everybody on this, because I believe, I mean, we'd be mandated to do it. And if there's a cheaper way out, I think we need to take that route. But I appreciate you explaining it to me.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Cheapest way out would be have court in Point La Hash.
Any other discussion? Machine is open for voting. And it passes with 6 with no voting for Councilman Champagne, Councilman Schultz, and yours truly. Next item, please.
An ordinance to amend and as amended readopt ordinance 483 adopted on March 25, 2004, which provided for the creation and membership of the Planning, Zoning, and Development Board and otherwise to provide with respect thereto.
Withdrawn, show us.
And an ordinance to amend the 5-year capital improvement plan, Oakville to Laura Seat Back Levy Project and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Newsom.
Offer, ask for a second.
Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table?
So what this does is this we move some money through engineering for to finish a project. We were waiting on I believe some FEMA money to finish it, and we didn't know if we were going to get it. We did get the money to finish this project. So what this does is move the money we took from this project and we putting it back. That's all.
Any other comments from the table? Mr. LaFrance?
Where this money coming from?
Well, no, it's going back into this project. It was the project, they took some from my district, some from your district. And we put the FEMA wanted paying for it, so they put it back.
How much money came out of my district?
It's $266,709. I think 90 cents was from your district.
How much?
It's going back where it came from.
Next item, please. I'm sorry.
I mean, they didn't answer the question.
188,202.55.
Mr. Schultz.
That's what it looked like.
$266,795 is going back into the Oakville to La Seat Back Levy Project, and then $78,593 is going back into the Dredging and Mitigation Bank District 7.
So 78,000.
So roughly $350,000 going back into projects in your district.
The machine is open for voting. And it passes 9-0.
P, an ordinance to amend and as amended readopt subsection 1E of section 22 non-water tap on and service connection charges and subsections 1 and 4 of section 2214 floating meters and enact section 2234 specific account designations and otherwise to provide with respect thereto. Councilmember Jurisic.
Offered by Councilman Mitch and second by Councilman Schultz. Any comments from the audience? Administration? Table?
What do we do with? Oh.
Yeah.
So, okay, you skipped over. Okay.
Right.
Machine is open for vote. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Newsom.
Yes. I brought it up last meeting with Ms. Buck about all these changes and the yellow stuff. We've got to do better because, again, the changes need to be done so the public gets a chance to see it. They don't, so that's my only concern. I do support it. Thank you.
Any other comment? Machine is open for voting on P. Schultz. And it passes 9-0. You're going to withdraw what?
O. Withdraw O. 10, approval of the minutes from the March 27, 2025 regular meeting.
Offer. Comments from the audience? Administration table open. Machine is open, sorry. Councilman Champagne and Schultz. Next item, please.
11, new business. 11B, District 7 update. 1, update on shelves removed from home place. 2, update on contract for Diamond Park. 3, update of sweeping of ditches. 4, update on platform on update for solar panels at Grand Bayou. 5, David Vitter's contract termination. 6, road work for subdivisions in District 7.
The only question I have, do we have a lot of this?
Yeah.
I said, the only thing I'm concerned about, do we have a lobbyist?
We have the Conic firm with Dutch Conic.
When did we hire them?
Probably about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I don't know exactly when. It was after we terminated our contract with Mr. Vitter.
I knew when we hired Mr. Vitter, and I don't want to use his name.
Right.
You know, they came to the council, they came to the board and addressed us. I think that was during maybe Mr. Lepine's term. But we hired a new lobbyist firm, but I don't get a chance to meet him.
Well, I've been through a couple of others since I've been here as well. We had the Robin Group for a year or 6 months. They didn't do anything for us, so we terminated that contract.
Are we going to get a chance to meet him?
Yeah, he called. Guy McGinnis works for him. He reached out to you today or yesterday or Monday, I believe it was. And Mr. Connick was here this morning as well.
Yeah, Mr.
I'll get Mr. Connick to call you.
I think he needs to come
Yeah.
in front of the board and let us know his expertise in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
You know? Because, I mean, when Mr. Vitter, when he came, and I was probably the biggest critic on him.
Yeah.
And but when we went to Washington, D.C., I mean, to me, he did a very good job, the way he set up everything for me. So, all right, I yield.
Conover?
You wasn't the biggest opponent against him, but I was against the last one for the port and here. Each one of y'all, the port came and you came telling me we needed him. So I bit the bullet and I talked with Mr. Vitter and I told him there was one thing I wanted worked on. And the week I'm going to Washington to try to push that, he calls me, says he was fired, so he's not working on it anymore. And I brought it up to him. I said, look, if I could get the forts in the national park system, I could get those river cruises to make that a stop, so that helps the port out.
Yep.
And he said, well, the port don't own the fort, so I'm not doing it.
Well, Mr. Connick is working on that right now. He's working on some ideas for you. He's going to make it happen
I
if he
had
can.
the ideas, you know, it already went through the studies and all, and I had everything ready to give to everybody 2 weeks ago in Washington, but never came around. So they set up a meeting with one of Cassidy's aides, which we already had a meeting with the port. And as soon as the port would finish their meeting, I'll push the national park issues. But they sent me the girl's name and said, we set up a meeting with you for. I said, well, do you have a cell phone number? No. So
Well, I don't think they wanted to. I think they were just protecting her cell phone.
Well,
Yeah.
how do I get a hold of her to find out where I'm meeting her?
Yeah.
But
Well,
that's where I'm at.
okay. It was my understanding that they had a meeting set up for you at her office.
Never gave me nothing.
Oh, okay. That,
Just
well, I must have misunderstood what they told me.
happened to be she was one of the speakers at the port meetings.
France?
Only one more question. How much we paying?
I think it's like, I'll have to get that. I don't know exactly what it is.
Send it to all of them.
I will. Okay.
Schultz?
I just want, since two of them are Mr. LaFrancis, what are we doing with 9A, 3, and 4? You said we're deferring for the time being. Are we going back, or we're just deferring for this whole meeting?
What, it's the sweeping of ditches?
No, 9A, 3, and 4, the reason, okay, for the whole meeting. And also, we need to go back to executive session where we can quickly get an update on that. So before we have a motion to adjourn, we got to go back to
So
executive.
we got the executive session, right?
Yeah, no, I was just reminded, just make sure since this, so
You
I'm
have
done.
anything to say on the lobbyists? 'Cause that's where we was at. Okay. Any other thing you had on, you had about 6 things on here, Mr. LaFrance, so the lobbyist, the only thing you want to talk about on your 6
Yeah,
things?
that's it.
Okay.
Because we talked about the ditches earlier, and I spoke to Mr. DeMarco about the Grand Bayou platform. So I'm good.
So now we can go into executive session. Anything else, Ken?
Go ahead, Mr.
Yeah.
Donovich.
I'm sorry.
I noticed some stakes by the Bootville Civic Center.
Go ahead, Billy.
That's marking some of the existing pilots and then pilings. We're going to go down there, heavy equipment doing it, and locate those pilings. And I think they're going to inspect them and see if they can be reused or if they got to be removed and repiled. They're trying to reuse the same pilings.
Did you see them there?
I didn't know. That's why they had to go mark them, because it's all underground.
I know when they tore the building down, they pulled up pilings and none of them was over 6 feet.
No, well, that may be an issue. They had to go mark them before we can dig, because other than that, we'd just be digging the whole place up looking for pilings. That's what that's for.
Before we vote on going to executive session, you saying there's something else that we got to go back to other than the executive session? Okay. Let's vote on going to executive session.
Executive session in accordance with LRS 4217A2 in the matter of Plaquemines Parish Government versus CPRA, case number 68526, Division B, 25th JDC, Parish of Plaquemines, State of Louisiana. Councilmember Schultz.
Offered second by Ms. McCarthy. Any comments from the audience administration? David, the machine is open. And we're going into executive session at, I can't see the clock,
450.
4:50. With nothing binding, so I call for motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, machine is open. Uh-oh, might have a problem. You voting? For adjournment.
You want to bring that back up? You want to bring it up? Brian? We all right?
You call for adjournment right now, that's all we talking about.
You're looking at me, I thought you were talking to me.
Okay, all right, we made it.
Stand adjourned.
This meeting stand adjourned at 5:01.